right, welcome to week 13 in CIT82, and it's time you took the next step on your Project Zero timeline and chose a template. And I kind of made a joke here, call me maybe, because you may feel that after walking through the training you don't need one, which is totally cool. But also part of this class is just, teaching you these concepts and giving you quick ways to bring things up in this case because once you take this class and then next semester at the second half, and I think I've mentioned this, is you'd want to take building websites without all these niceties in order for you to really learn what's happening at a lower level. But having said that, our current topic will be to choose a template. And this is the writing I did from last year, and it seems to me it really works. But the simple idea is that you go right to your favorite search engine and you start looking for Bootstrap templates. And there's a ton, right? There's a ton of different Bootstrap templates, some paid, some not. The idea would be to find one that you feel matches what your design I would like. When you see stuff, we all, even though we may not think about it, have a design eye. Meaning when we see something that appeals to us, we know what that is, and maybe we can't articulate why. But anyway, so I'm gonna just, like I said, there's a lot of here, premium and free, so which is nice, so you want to look at some of these. And here's getting Bootstrap itself, but you don't need to do that after we saw last week. And then templates. So I haven't looked at this one, I think. Actually, I've looked at most of the ones above, but not this one. So let me see if this one, just while I'm here, is worth looking at. See if it's templates that I think, honestly, have not looked at this. Okay, so Bootstrap, job board, creative portfolio. Okay, not too bad. So now the question would be, are these free, right? So, okay, so this one's free. So as I look through here, I don't see anything. Oh, this kind of looks nice. Let's see if this is free. Let's view this and see if this is a free site, right? So good. It's a free template, so it is, right? So I can actually just go and download the theme. So here we have, oh look, email download to download. You have two possibilities. So here, what this site's trying to do, and I honestly didn't do this on purpose, but just it's good to know because some of these sites will just let you download it immediately. But some of them, right? Yeah, you're going to need to do a little more work, give them a little more information, right? So I'm like, okay, all right, I'm in, but again, maybe I don't have to be. I can go and maybe this would actually be the thing that would keep me from getting one, right? So just FYI. Now, I actually ended up getting one, and I'm just going to go to my downloads, right? Oh, I cleared my downloads just recently. Okay, no worries. I can actually find what I'm looking for on my drive, on my computer's file explorer. Right, so actually on my downloads, I ended up getting this one and I downloaded it. So I liked it. This was nice. So I went ahead and downloaded it and I unzipped it so I have it. So now what you want to do, right, is once you find that directory, so in this case Bootstrap clean GH pages, this is the name of it. I don't necessarily have to call it that. I can call it whatever I want, right? So these are the files though. These are all the files that were included in that. So I don't have to keep that name, but I can. So just to show you. And actually I think this is a good way of doing it. So I'm going to go back to my directory. Now, in this case, I could have also used my Sublime Text, right? So Sublime Text would also do this for me. But I like working just in this interface, or even if you're more comfortable, even at the command line, you can do this stuff. But let me go into, okay, this semester, right? So here's my GitHub pages directory, right? So I have that. So what I would do is I'd create a new folder and I'd call it template, right? Cool. So in that template then I would double click into it, and then I could just over here paste in. Let's see if it would let me, see if it grabbed them, and if not I'll go back and get them again because it may have been through all the things that I did, it didn't grab that. So this is good to receipt, right? So let's say all of these files right here, right? So I want all these files, I want to copy all of them, right? So then I'm going to go back to my directory here, right here, and I have my template directory ready to receive it. So then paste all 14. Oop, paste all 14. So then what that does is it brings into that template directory all of those. Let me step back here so you can see this, right? So all those files for that template. Right, so cool, so there they are. So then I will also see, so by the way, if I double click here, so then the difference here is where the template was located, and this is where I ultimately ended up with it, which is as my template. So if I come over to my editor, right, so that's step one. So in your current topics, the idea is for you to go find something, right? So I've actually already moved on to step two, because what you can do here is just give us a link to whatever location that was that you ended up, which by the way, let me see if I did get an email. Oh, I did. So I actually ended up getting that email, and then I could download the theme. They had to do a little bit of advertising to me, but yeah, no big deal. Okay. Okay, so back here, so right, so download, review the code. Yeah, so that's the other thing, is you need to start looking at the code, because as with anything, when you, and I'm gonna, now that I'm in my editor, right, so now I'm in Sublime Text, and I can see that template directory. And so in here, I see there's quite a few files, right? And some I probably don't recognize, which is a gulp file, which we're going to talk a little about build tools, but we're not going to go any further in this case. So really it's just the index file to start with. That's always the file that you start with, and you start looking through here. And then actually, in some ways, feel pretty good about what you do know, right? Feel pretty good about what you can see that they're doing here as far as the divs, right, and the classes. And so it's like, oh, okay, I see how that got created. I see how that got created. And oh yeah, they have some scripts down here. So this is all stuff that you learn as well when going through first the HTML and now the specific bootstrap, right? So in this case now you have that. So now what you're going to want to think about, okay, so that's the, right? So now that we're here, let me just do the next step, right, is that you'd want to push this, right? So actually let me just stop, because actually now we're moving into the hands-on part of this, okay? So let me just stop and say this. For the current topics, you can just give us the web URL for this and talk about, you know, maybe why you chose it, what was the appeal for you, right? So I want you to just give that some thought, right? And so the next step will be, will you actually take that and utilize it, right, for your beginnings of your project zero, because right now you do have some files already in there. So let me come back here to week 13. So now we're going to take that directory, right? So, and you're going to end up pushing that up to GitHub so that you have it. And I'd recommend actually taking the next step after that, but let's just go ahead and see here. If I do a git status, what will I see? At this point is I have that new directory, right? So I can just do the git add star, right? So I'm going to git add star everything in there. I'm going to git commit -m. I'm going to say adding bootstrap templates to my GitHub account, or my GitHub, actually my GitHub pages. I'll say it that way. You can make these however you want. Cool. So now we have them all in there. So then all I have to do is a git push. Cool. So that's moving along. Boom, boom, boom. So now I can actually go out into my GitHub, right? I can go out and go look at that real quick just to see that it got uploaded, right? Cool. So now, by the way, I wouldn't see it here, right? I wouldn't see it here. I'd see it here. Nice. Right? So if you got that, you got the round trip done in that case. So the next thing you're going to want to start thinking about, so let me just say this again. So the hands-on part of this, right, is you've taken it, upload it to your GitHub pages, and then we'll give you a little more experience with file management like we just showed you, but also start thinking about the next logical step here, right? So what is this? The next logical step would be in your editor, right? So here I have the template. And here I have, in this directory, what I already have an index file, I have a page 2, and I have a readme, right? So what I could do, a couple of things here. I could go in to my template and I could look at, and this is actually an okay way to do it. I mean, there's many ways to do this, but for piecing it together so that you understand where everything is, where everything works, if you double click into your template and you could select, click, and I did Control A, I'm going to copy, right? So I'm going to roll that back up. I'm going to look at my index file, and I had some stuff we've already been playing with, but I'm just going to paste it, right? So there we go. So I've pasted that in to my root directory, right? So not the template, I took it out of there and I pasted it in here. Now what's your guess right now on way your index file would look, right? Would it look like this looks out here in your template directory, right? Well, we know it's not going to look like what's out on your GitHub account. That's clear, hopefully. And if not, just think about that for a minute, right? So back here. So now let's just do it because I think it's worth doing is to actually look at this. Actually, we can look at it in the browser or we can reveal it in Timer, right? Finder. So if we open this in a browser, right? So, boop, boop, boop. Oh, by the way, what did I forget to do? I forgot to save, right? One of the things that always kind of is interesting for me. Right, so this, you might wonder, hopefully you got this. Why didn't this render correctly? Why didn't it look like this? Because we didn't grab all the pieces. That's why, right? So in this case, we still have, if you look at this, and this is the part I'm going to leave you with because you're going to need to have done this by next time. So just go ahead and look at it because it's good. So you'll want to bring over the CSS, the images, and the JS for now. So bring over that directory into, right, this structure, right? So you're kind of moving things up, but I would move things up one at a time to see how that works and to get familiar with that, right? So that's the next thing that we'll end up doing. So coming back here, so what you want to do here is, let's think about this because I had you give me the link to your GitHub page out on GitHub, right? So you uploaded the template, right? So now what I want you to do is take a print screen right here. So once you get this in here, right, and you look at your repo and then build your index file for sure and see how far you can get as far as making it look like what is out on GitHub pages, and then do a print screen. Place that print screen in images, right? And we'll call this print screen. I mean, last week I did this one, so this one would be, you could call it, well, template might be confusing, right? So why don't we do this? Call it step 1, right? So under your images, we'll call it step 1, which by the way, so create a new print screen, put it under here. So think about this before, as I leave you today, is that under this template, there is also an images, right? So what would you want to do here? You can just copy these, right? You can reveal them in Finder or in your editor, right, of choice. I'm going to do edit, copy. And then what I could do here is I could just paste them, right? So I could come up here, and I think here, let's see if it'll let me just edit, paste. Let's see if that worked. If not, I might just have to play around with it because I'm not used. Again, I like the editor. To me, it's just what I'm used to. So let me try this again. So let's go in here and then to edit, paste, and let's see if it works that way. Oh, I'm gonna have to play with it a little more to figure that out, or I'll do my comfort level and I'll just drop out into here and do it. Okay. All right. I hope that helps you out. It is Monday, before Election Day. So I hope you all get out and vote today or tomorrow or whenever that is for you. So have a wonderful rest of your week. And next week is Thanksgiving, is actually, believe it or not, right? So in week 14, I was looking at the calendar. I honestly will end with this. I'll need to make sure I've done this for you all, right? So in this case, let's see if I have moved anything. I have moved. Yes, I have moved for you all for my other, oh, let me see for 82. So let me back this up, right? So in this case, yeah, I've already moved all the items for you all. So there's nothing to worry about oh, actually the lecture, sorry. No, the lecture was moved. It was moved into the following one. So FYI, but I will talk to you guys next Monday and we'll chat. about what's heading at you. Okay, have a great weekend or week.